Hey everyone. Hi, it's Lisa Clayton of lisaaclayton.com and Indigo Mystic of Indigo's Bungalow in Half Moon Bay, California. We are so, we have been so busy today. And so it was took a while to catch Indigo because she thought it was time to play. So here we are on June 8th, 2020, here to bring forth a Monday mantra for you to bring in the angelic guidance and the energy for this week. So we've had some power packed energy with the lunar eclipse full moon on Friday, and and it's going to continue. All June is going to be pretty intense with the planetary astrological energy, and then, of course, we still have all of the unrest and all of the protests that are still happening, more things coming into light. And then we are still slowly coming out of the pandemic. So we have a lot of things, we have a lot of energy to navigate in this coming week. And so we wanted to share the Monday mantra that came through yesterday as we were preparing for. I just launched off a new group mentoring series for the Inner Leader Movement. Had 8 amazing people join in today. So we've been busy with that. But before we started working on the mentoring program, we really tuned into what is going to be the most useful for you this week as you tune in more and more to your inner leader. So Indigo, would you like to hold up the Monday mantra for this week? So here it is. Love it. I love all the clouds. So activate your divine sovereignty. Soul shine your love. The world needs your light. So this activate your divine sovereignty, that was the key message that was coming through. And a lot of dialogue with the angels on this one. Do you want to just lean on the table here for a second? She's looking out the window. She's getting ready to, wants to go out and play. So I just wrote some notes and took some information that comes in. Again, every single Monday mantra comes from the downloads through meditation and through asking the angels, what I call my team divine, to tap in and connect with us and give us guidance, give us inspiration, bring forth wisdom that we may not have at the tips of our fingers, or we have maybe buried far in our hearts, or that we may be distracted. So this divine sovereignty, and I'm just going to share my notes that came through. So one of the key changes. So again, we were tapping into what is happening now. So one of the key changes that needs to happen, and they said needs to happen, is to enable the transformation of our humanity to reclaim our personal power, to think for ourselves, discern the truth from disinformation or misinformation. They actually use disinformation, which I kind of liked, and to stand firm for what we know is right. The source that created you, creator origin, has endowed you with free will and the power to create your own thoughts, your own words, and your own deeds. Yet many of us are squandering them so badly. And we are and actually they said humanity is at a critical junction in its history. And we know that, but they were like, okay, let us just stream it in from our perspective, from the higher perspective. One road leads to a very bleak future, and the other has a potential to be the new golden age. I vote for the latter. The outcome depends on us, each one of us. starting right now, and it starts by freeing your mind, reclaiming your divine sovereignty. So let's just talk about that word for a moment, because I'm like, do people really do most people know what sovereignty is? Because we got taught in religion that sovereignty only existed outside of us, in a God that was outside of us, up in heaven. And so they're saying yes. So the the word sovereignty, they're saying yes, we need to review that because it's changed in our own divine sovereignty. So the word sovereign refers to the power or right that a nation, state, or individual has to determine its own destiny, to not be controlled by others. So that's when certain states are declared sovereignty, or a kingdom was created, declared sovereign by a king because he was the ruler over that kingdom. So the determination, so this the ability to determine, so the ability to determine one's destiny has been termed as the self determination in one aspect of timeless, what we call, and they said what we call in divine, a timeless freedom. So self determination, so like your own divine sovereignty is your self determination, your freedom. And I loved this stream that came through, the confidence backed by universal law. So basically, you're claiming your own space, you're claiming your physical body, your mind, your heart as your own source self. So, you know, as I tapped in it, for me, that seems that's my those are the teachings of the inner leader movement. This is what I teach: is people to come back home to them, to their source self, to the essence of who they are. But it's also about believing that the source, the creator origin, is us. It is within us. So just back to, I was a fourth grade teacher, fourth, fifth, and sixth grade. I started out, my very first job was I was a fourth, fifth, and sixth grade social studies and science teacher. And I remember in social studies, and I wrote this down, is that the American founding fathers firmly thought and believed in inalienable rights. We, the people, and the inalienable rights. So this personal sovereignty, this divine sovereignty, refers to the intrinsic right that you have in your source power. So having the right to sovereignty, to your source, is much different. And I love this. So they're saying, so Lisa, you get it. You know that that is what you are teaching and what you're bringing people home to. But here's the difference: you have the right to your divine sovereignty, to your source self, but there's a difference in being sovereign. So this is where now what we're moving into is action. Through the murder of George and through the protest that erupted, it is now time that we assert a right through our thoughts and actions. If not, we're going to get lost. So ultimately, when you think about sovereignty, I always think about when I was teaching this to my elementary kids, is freedom is not free. Okay, so it's a classic saying. It echoes the idea that we have to claim and give our attention, thought, and engagement to it. And I remember driving down to Santa Cruz for my energy work, and on the marquee on one of the stores, it says, "If you want to be free, be free." So I love that, because I'm like, yeah, if you want to be free, be free. It's our responsibility for our freedom. So an important part of being truly free is the responsibility to be discerning about your ideas, beliefs, attitudes, different than what we choose to accept from society. In fact, we have to be even more independently thoughtful and confident. So this confidence came through. And even today in the mentoring group, confidence and courage came through from the angels. They're like really amping us up on confidence and courage. So we have to have enough confidence to form our own ideas, our own beliefs and attitudes, despite the pressure of society, despite the pressure of our families, despite the pressure of our communities to conform. Because what happened, and I mean, we're all part of this. We're all experiencers in this Earth experience, the simulation that we are navigating in this lifetime. And what we did is we accepted, we trusted, we bought into um, our government, our religions, some of our teachers even, and the experts, and we believed them and we trusted them. And but what we were really doing was giving away our power. The powers to be that we trusted created their own agendas. They created what served their agenda, and a world that was not of our best interest. We know that now. We know that. We've known it for a long time. This is the conditioned, programmed part of being here. We got conditioned, we got told, we got taught, we got layered, we believed, we trusted, and we went, and now we're seeing what's happening with that. So as we start forming our own beliefs and trusting our inner knowledge, our inner wisdom, and standing for what we know in our hearts is right, then the future of the world will be defined and created by a very few and with very few self-serving agendas. Boy, I love that part. They're like, it only takes a few to start changing the world. So in the way that we have, oh boy, did we ever get programmed into this? I was into this. I was into this very much when I was running my business. I started my business independently in 1999, and I was chasing the dollar. I was chasing the next contract. I was chasing um, the next client, corporate contracts that were going to keep me afloat in my business. But I lost my power in steering my own ship. So I allowed a lot of the materialism, the consumerism, and the fear of running out of money, the fear of not having enough, to drive my business. That takes a lot for me to say, but it was true. I got really caught up in the system. And I got to a breaking point where I broke down in the system that didn't serve what I was to be here doing. I wasn't here to be chasing the dollar. I wasn't here to be running a Fortune 500 company. I was here to bring forth my intuitive gifts and my guidance and wisdom that I have brought with me many lifetimes. And even though I was able to bring that forth in all the wonderful careers I've had amazing careers. But when I started on my own, I got caught into the dollar, the commercial interest. So here was a caution, and it's a very important caution. So I did let the powers to be steer my ship. I let the corporations tell me how much money they were going to give me and what kind of contract they were going to give me. And so I became discouraged. I started to disengage, but I'll never blame them, never, because I was in the game. So that was the caution the angels and my guides came through and said, now is the time to stop the blame game. We allowed ourselves, they actually said, you allowed yourself to be manipulated and to be taken and allowed yourself to be taken to a future that wasn't of your design. Oh, I love that. I'm like, yes, it was not the future of that I was designing for my life. So you are fully responsible for everything in your life, including what you let happen to you and not letting. So don't fall. So basically, what they were saying is don't fall into the victim mentality trap and get caught up in the blame and complain, because every time we say, oh my gosh, look what they're doing over there, or it's because of this that's happening. No, it's because we were in the system too. We were responsible for this. Okay, everything that happened in this protest, we had some level of responsibility for. And so every time we blame and every time we point a finger, and I used to tell my kids this all the time. They're like, he did it, she did it. And I'm like, well, look at all those fingers pointing back at you, because 9 times out of 10, those fingers pointing back at that kid yelling, she did it, he did it, they had something to do with it too. So it gives away our power when we get into the blame and blame and complain game, as they said it. I loved it. And Barbara Marcinak, I've read many of her books, and I remember a quote, and I wrote it down. I actually went to one of her books and said, mass beliefs in the power of outside authorities are firmly entrenched in our psyche, raising many questions about the truth of who you really are and why you place your trust outside yourself. I love that quote. So, the final downloads that came through this morning, love how my team works with me. They kind of give me a break because it's intense tuning in and really receiving the messages. So to reclaim our power, we need to start forming our own beliefs, trust our inner truth, and do what we know is right, not what others tell us or what society expects. We need to engage our hearts and minds and stand firm in what we know is true and right. And now's the time to do it, because our future, our children's future, our grandchildren's future depends on it. We got consumed, and they were saying, just remember that there was an erosion. There was an erosion of freedom because we got engaged in an age of distraction, obsession, and fear. So in this era that was dominated by consumerism, materialism, and the pursuit of making money, so many of us, and this brought tears to me, so many of us got so busy and so distracted on keeping up with our mortgages and keeping up with the credit system and the possessions and the thrills that we failed to see that we were gradually giving away more and more of our power and our freedom. And it was a slow erosion for many, many years, but in the last few years, it really has become a fast deterioration, as we now see what's happening in our governments, not only politics, but in our businesses. Many businesses that suffered through this pandemic, we found out a lot about them. We found out a lot about their practices. We found out a lot about how they treated their employees. We found out about their leave policies, their benefits, their lack of benefits. We found out a lot about when we closed down. This virus took a lot of lives, and that was the grieving part of it. But it also gave us the gift of seeing what was behind the closed doors. And so now we rise above our fixation on all the dangerous, on all the bad, on all the fearful things, all the things that keep us distracted from what is important, which is our inner power, our inner leader, your divine sovereignty. And another quote from Barbara Marcinak is that your power ends where your fear begins. I love that. So now, this is kind of Lisa and the Inner Leader Movement talking. It's our divine right. It's our divine right and responsibility to own our own beliefs, our ideas, our guiding principles, and our values. It's time we reclaim our confidence in our inner knowledge and our wisdom and have the courage to stand for our truth and justice despite what institutions, what the media, and others may be telling us. We need to stop blaming the system and wake up from our procrastinations, our distractions, and the dependencies that we have depended on to reclaim our power so we can create a better world. I invite you to stand up for what you know in your heart is right. And that may mean standing alone. It may mean making statements in your family that they don't align with. But, oh, you are every single one of you watching this video is such a precious being. You are so loved. You are pure light. Let your soul shine your love. The world needs your light. You are a slice of the most powerful infinite being that we call the universe, the source of all that is. So stand in your power confidently. Be true to yourself. Stop being a follower. Be a leader. Let your inner leader lead. And as I stated with my group, my mentoring group, is that, oh my goodness, really our inner leader is the only leader we can trust at this time. I've got more Lisa. Because everything is within you. All the knowledge of the universe is deep within you. You're connected to all of it, to source, to creator, which what I call creator origin, which is source, whatever you choose to call it, just go within, become quiet, and trust what you find, and feel what you know, because there is hope. There is a bright future for humanity. It is possible. I believe that. I know that there's a lot that has to change. But when we wake up and we get out of the haze and we get out of the distraction and the fear and we start getting engaged, anything is possible. What source, what creator of origin would say is what source and what creator origin is saying right now, every single day to me, is for me to choose a higher and grander vision of what I can be, of what we can be, of what the world can be. And source will activate the joy, the abundance, and the freedom once we come into the stream of that beautiful divine sovereignty. So activate your divine sovereignty, soul shine your love. The world needs your light. And I'm going to just repeat it over and over again. We need more love. We need more light. And we have the power to do that. We have the power to radiate that from our heart. We have the power to radiate that from our soul source. Us, one person individually can make such a big difference. And I hope you feel that. Indigo, it's time to pick the angels to activate our Monday mantra today. Are you ready? Are you ready? Which ones are we going to go with today? You want to come up with both? We've got Ingrid's cards. We've got the angels of Atlantis. Which ones? You get to decide. You're part of this. Oh, I see your paws leaning towards the angel of Atlantis. Okay, you know the routine. Ready? Mommy's already shuffled the cards. Let's put your paw ready. 1, 2, 3. Calling all angels. Do you see them? Do you feel them? Yep, you always do. They like that light, don't they? They like mommy's lotus light. Thank you, Indigo. Let's see. Whoops, you got your mommy's necklace in your paw. Okay, here we go. I'm going to do the Angels of Atlantis today. They're part of our divine team. We work with them every single day. Love their energy, their light. They appear in orbs. So you will never see a human angel with wings on the oracles that come through, because they're all about the light. They're all about the energy of the light and of a pure, unconditional love. So, Indigo, your angels are taking some time to come through as she looks out the window for the next distraction. Indigo, please focus. Oh, she's got one ear up, ready to go. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to put the Monday mantra over here to activate a little bit more energy. Let's see what happens with the divine sovereignty, your soul, your beautiful soul light, the world that needs your light, your soul's light. Whoops, there we go. Yeah, and there's 2 stuck here, so we'll start with those. Okay, Raziel, have faith. There you are. Love it. Look at that. Isn't that the most beautiful card? And I don't know if you can see, there's a spiral right in the middle where the heart is of this human being. And there's Raziel, outstretched arms saying, have faith. Look at this power that you have with your outstretched arms. Activate that power. We gave Lisa the guidance and the message for the Monday mantra today. Now is more important than ever. And in order to do that, Jophiel's saying, I'm going to help you in meditation. And this is so important. Jophiel's been coming through with this quite frequently, saying the only way that you're going to tap into your wisdom and to hear your inner voice, the inner voice of wisdom, your inner voice of knowledge, is to get quiet, to get still. You don't have to be a professional meditation expert. You can do walking meditations. I meditate while I'm washing the dishes. I tune into I have this beautiful wise tree outside my kitchen window, and I just say, so what's next? And I get quiet and I just listen. And I can't tell you how many messages I've received washing the dishes. So meditation can come in many, many, many different forms. And there's a whole bunch of cards that flew out, and we're going to choose the first one that yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I was just going to say, we're just going to choose the first one that is on top of the pile, because there's several of them. So here we go with Sandophon. And here comes forth the Christ consciousness, the love. So yeah, and there it is, shining your love. And that whole heart area around Jesus is illuminated. And what is he? He's holding, oh, so there's a heart. I've never even noticed this before, because I've always just focused on the energy. I never focus on the details of the pictures, because I'm always reading the energy and receiving the downloads. But he said, can you just take a look at what I'm wearing around my neck? And it is a heart with flames coming out of it. That's the power you have, is to fire up the power of your heart and bring forth your love to the world. It's so needed right now. Oh, wow. This is the soul shine. This is the soul shine your love. Thank you, Sandophon, for bringing in Jesus to remind us that we are unconditional love. Our love, we got taught on this earth to be, to condition our love. So if I give you this, then I expect this back. And that's conditioned love. And Sandophon is bringing forth the unconditional love that Jesus brought forth on this earth when he was here as a a spiritual leader. And so we want to thank Raziel for coming forth. Indigo, thank you for bringing Raziel for faith. Jophiel for get still, meditate, listen, tune in, love it. And Sandafon with love. So good job, Indigo. Yes, very, very good job. You knew those angels were going to come in, didn't you? Huh? Okay, thank you so much for tuning in. We love doing the Monday mantras, and we love you. And we are going to be shining differently. We're going to be putting our soul shine out into the world and activating our divine sovereignty in new and innovative ways. Every day is different. Every day that you're given on this earth is an opportunity to shine differently, to dig deep into your own inner power, your wisdom, and to commune with the angels, with your divine team, your higher self, to get the guidance, all we have to do is call them in. They're just waiting. Okay, we love you. We'll see you next Monday for our next Monday mantra. Take good care, stay safe, be kind, and soul shine your love, shine your light, and activate that divine sovereignty. We love you. Bye-bye. Indigo, you still have an opportunity to say bye. Bye, everyone. Mommy messed up and I couldn't find the end button. There you go.